it's just after 3:30. And we're still possibly waiting for one more board member. So I want to welcome everybody to today's meeting for the Marin County Board of Education. But before calling the meeting to order, I just want everybody to know that we have somebody in the room. She will be snapping some pictures and getting some action shots. For what reason, I'm not sure, but and you do that. So just to let everybody know.
Our website lacks photos of board members, and there's a picture of this dais empty, which is a little. Not really sending the right message. So Stephanie Mohan, who's a brilliant photographer, will be doing that. I think some of them will be used in our annual report as well.
Okay, you notice I just hit the Coca-Cola can. So
product placement.
All right, so let's call today's March board meeting order. Roll call, please.
Jill Sartori.
Here.
Curtis Robinson.
Yes.
Lee Delpan.
Present.
Patty Garbarino.
Here.
Marilyn Nemser.
Here.
Cindy Johansson.
Here.
Nancy McCarthy.
Sue's absent today, or is she coming later? We know?
We're not sure.
Okay. Okay. All right. And now let's do public comment. So we're going to identify persons wishing to address the board on items not on the agenda.
President,
Vicky, are there any?
I believe we need to adopt the agenda, but then actually,
Let's approve and adopt the agenda. I'm sorry. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, today's agenda is adopted. Now we can move on to public comment. For people wishing to address the board on items not on the agenda, are there any?
We're not using the cards anymore.
Okay, so seeing none, we'll move on. Okay, let's do the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Okay.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed to approving the consent agenda? Seeing none, the consent agenda passes, and now we're moving right on to superintendent reports. Superintendent Carroll.
All right, thank you. Some of you joined us for the annual JLAC field trip to Sacramento last month. It was a great success, especially since this was the first time we had 8th graders joining us. They did look like usually they're high school students there, but they were super engaging and very well informed. And it seemed like they even had a good time meeting with our political leaders and other ed staffers in Sacramento. So do you want to provide some additional information, Lisa? Yeah, Dr. Miller joined us and organized the trip.
Good afternoon, trustees. Yeah, it was a great success in Sacramento. We had about 35 people total go on the field trip, so we had a full room. And one of the highlights for the students was doing a tour of the Capitol. And I was leading that with them, and many of them said they had never been there before, so it was really informative. We're always grateful for our elected officials that show up in person and hear our Ms. Marin specific concerns and appreciations. I'll just highlight a couple things that were priorities this year. One of them is the costs of our public record PRAs. Requests, because the time it takes for staff to complete all of that along with the costs. A perennial concern and request is to revisit special education costs that each district faces and the litigation that goes along with it. And then there was some conversation around the significant elections that are going to be happening next year. So it'll be interesting to see who shows up for us next year, because we'll have new governor. One of our senators, Senator McGuire, needs to move on. Connolly is also moving on, so it'll be changing quite a few people that typically join us. But overall, it was a great success.
Thank you. Last week we had an update meeting for the Oak Hill housing project that we're working on, and I know you're all intimately familiar with. I think the headline takeaway from that meeting was getting assurances from the College of Marin that they will be underwriting a certain number of units as part of the guarantor project for that. So we got a very clear statement that that's going to be happening. The mental health dollars that we've been hearing so much about, I don't know if Dr. Miller wants to take a victory lap on this one or say something, but after a lot of protracted battles in the courts and orders for the federal Department of Education to release those mental health dollars. They have finally been released, and we got it in writing from the Federal Department of Education saying that the money will be forthcoming, at least 1 year's worth of funding. We anticipate the following 3. So this is to the tune of about $12.5 million that mostly go to, or maybe 100% go to Novato and Centerville to support student mental health. And our own alternate ed program, of course. So that's really huge good news. It took a lot of work and commitment and sticking with the plan to make sure that we were part of that arrangement. So congratulations. Responding to immigration enforcement in schools, we recently provided another training for our schools on what their legal obligations and legal rights are if there's an immigration enforcement action on any of our school campuses. I also had the privilege, along with Dr. Miller and Danielle Hauk, our general counsel, of attending a training for neutral observers at times when there's an immigration action. So we went through the whole 3 or 4 hour training, went through scenarios about what that looks like, learned how to remain safe. We're considering, and I think actually making plans to do a school-specific one in case there's an enforcement action that takes place at a school. So we're working on that. Thanks to Lisa Bennett, especially at the Marin Multicultural Center, whose organization has put that all together and has now trained over 1,500 volunteers in Marin. So if you ever if you're out there at a protest or just about any event, you'll see them. They wear these fetching pink tunics that say neutral observer, and they've all been trained on how to make sure that they document whatever is going on with immigration enforcement, especially if we get some sort of sweep that comes through Marin. Trauma-informed practices, an effort to be responsive to board requests to learn more about trauma-informed practices. From the last board meeting, I want to let you know that we will be adding this topic to next month's agenda, specifically what trauma-informed practices are, why trauma-informed practices are important, and how trauma-informed practices are utilized in Marin's community school. We look forward to that discussion, so more to come on that. Last Saturday, we had the MCBE Job Fair, which was great. Fairly well attended. We had Mill Valley, Nevada, and Tamalpais districts all meeting with prospective new teachers, and it was wonderful. And that's it for my report. Thanks.
Superintendent, I have a question. Have there been any ICE or showing up at the schools here in Marin County?
There has not
had any incidents at all?
No.
That you're aware of?
Mm-hmm. It's just in preparation when we saw, especially the Multicultural Center of Marin. I mean, I think a lot of the impetus for having these trainings came up by observing what's going on in Minnesota.
Thank you. Okay, moving right along, and welcome Trustee McCarthy, just arrived. Welcome.
Thank you. As you know, I have a family member in the hospital, so I just came from UCSF. I apologize for being here.
Okay, we're moving on to item number 4.02, the Career Technical Education CTE update. That's Adam Jennings and Jesse Madsen.
Hello, trustees. I wanted to thank you, begin by thanking you for the opportunity to share with you some information about our College and Career Readiness Program. As you know, CTE and preparing students for opportunities in career and college after graduation is a real core program for the MCBE and part of one of our goals that we're working towards. And so with that, I'd like to invite up Jesse Madsen and the College and Career Readiness leadership team to share some information about our program. Thank you, Adam. So it's really great to be here again. What I would like to do is spend most of our time today talking about some highlights and some things we would like to share with you that have happened that we're proud of over the past year, and some things that we have looking forward. First, we're going to start off. I'm going to allow the team to introduce themselves when they come up. We have a lot of members that are going to share with you today, and we're going to go kind of rapid fire. So I think it's, we're starting off with a little bit of an overview of each of our programs. So just as a reminder, our College and Career Readiness buckets of work fall into School to Career Partnership, and so STC, Regional Occupational Program, ROP, and K-14 alignment. And you're going to hear from the people that lead each of these programs today, and they're going to share a little reminder of what those programs are, and then what we have to be proud of and what we have looking forward to. So first, I'd like to hand it over to Courtney Vanessa, who leads our school career program.
Hi everyone, my name is Courtney Budessa and I am a special projects manager here in the CCR department, and I oversee the school to career internship program in the high schools. And one of our main focuses of our school to career program is internships. We have school to career liaisons working in all the different high schools, connecting students to internships in the community. In addition to internships, our liaisons are also working with students and helping provide them with job shadows and tours, connecting them to professionals in the community for informational interviews so students can learn more about various career paths, providing career exploration tools such as Pathful, that's where students are able to explore careers on their own. Organizing career treks and field trips where students are able to go to different organizations in the community. One recently was at Marin's Community Clinic for students interested in healthcare. Our liaisons also bring in industry speakers and organize industry panels on our campuses at school for students to be able to hear about the variety of career paths that there are available to them. Our liaisons also help with job applications, helping students create resumes, interview prep, and they also spend some time doing one-on-one career coaching for the students. One of the things that I wanted to highlight was the career exploration work that's happened at Loma Alta School this past year, which is the juvenile court school. Our school to career liaison, Juan Rodas, has coordinated over 7 high-level local professionals to come in and visit the school and share their career journeys and insights with the students. He's brought in a handful of professionals, including Skelly Weingart, who's the CEO of By the Bay Health. Diana Kennedy is the general manager of Volvo Marin. She actually came twice. She went and spoke with the students and really enjoyed her experience and came back again to help with informational interviews and interview prep. We also had Rondell Gibson, the director of high school success from Bridge the Gap. And there's a few more. The school year is not over yet, so he is also planning on a few more for the remainder of the school year. It's been really impactful for the students to have these speakers come in. It's a great way for the students to learn about all of the different options and career paths that are available to them. And it's also great. The speakers have been able to share their stories and their background and their career journeys. And it's share some really valuable advice the students have really learned a lot from. They've been really engaged in these presentations. And lastly, coming up for the School to Career program, we're organizing a Job Shadow Day on April 23rd, taking place next month. This is where our School to Career board will be hosting students for a Job Shadow morning. The students will be going on site to the different workspaces in the various organizations around Marin. And the students will have an opportunity to meet with the different folks there, see what a workplace setting and environment is like, and talk to the folks about what their jobs are like. It will be followed with a luncheon here at MCBE where students are able to really reflect on their experience and share what they've learned. So thank you. Next, Yvonne.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ivan Diaz. I'm an assistant special projects manager. And I'm going to talk about K-14 alignment. So one of our major focuses is K-14 alignment, which makes sure students experience seamlessly transition from high schools into college and careers. We do this through a few key initiatives. The K-14 Collaborative, where educators and partners coordinate programs and pathways, dual enrollment and articulation, which allows students to earn college credits while still in high school, and the Summer Career Academies, which expose students to career fields early. This alignment helps students see clear pathways from classroom learnings to real careers. And so dual enrollment and articulation, the main goal of this is to expand college credit opportunities for high school students. 2 of our Marin County Office of Education ROP classes are articulated with PROM. This year, we renewed our articulation with the ROP Medical Assisting Program, which articulates 3 College of Marin classes for a total of 8 college credits. We also created a new articulation agreement for the ROP Education Program, which which supports students interested in teaching and education careers, which articulates with 2 College Marin courses for a total of 2 units. In addition, we hold monthly coordination meetings with College Marin to continue building stronger alignment between our programs. This allows students to earn college credits earlier, reduce college costs, and accelerate progress towards career goals. And then looking forward, we're looking towards the summer career academies. We're expanding our summer career academies, which are short career exploration opportunities. This year, we are going to have 12 academies across a range of career fields. We're introducing a new careers and business academy, reflecting growth in students' interest in entrepreneurship and business pathways. Due to high demand, we're also adding a second section of the Business and Entrepreneurship Academy and the Health Career Academies. Altogether, these academies will serve around 350 students over the summer, giving them early college exposure to college programs, credits, and career pathways. These programs will help students test career interests, build skills, and connect students with college faculty and industry professionals. And I will pass it over to Melissa Guerrero.
Hello, everyone. I'm Melissa Guerrero. I'm a coordinator, and I'm here to share with you a little bit more about our ROP classes and some career exploration events. So as you see here, we have our digital audio class, our medical assisting class, our rural healthcare class, and our education class. We would work closely with industry partners for these courses, such as Strawberry Hill Music, Kaiser, and By the Bay Health, to bring in professionals from the field to work directly with students. One recent highlight, last week we had the second annual Pathways to Careers in Medicine and Healthcare. This is an event sponsored by the Marin Healthcare District and Marin Health. It's held at their medical facility in Green Bay, and they hosted 60 public high school students from each of the high schools, and they had a facility tour, they had guest speakers. Students had the opportunity to interact directly with practitioners, as you can see there in the photo. That's an RN interacting with students. So it was a wonderful event, and it's partnerships such as these that really help bring to life the careers for students. The students had ample time and opportunity to ask questions. Many questions were asked. And so it's just such a valuable partnership that we have. It's a new event, and we're already looking to next fall and spring. And looking ahead, so one of our goals is to continue to expand opportunities for students in rural areas such as West Marin, and the need for more place-based career exploration events, such as the one that we have with Marin Health. So going out to West Marin and hosting a career panel there. We're going to do that in April, on April 23rd, and we're working closely with Petaluma Health, 10,000 Degrees, as well as West Marin Health and Human Services to secure professionals to come and speak to students on that day. This is done in support with the principal out at Tomales High School, and our school to career liaison, David Glasgow, has done some planning work. And then I also have a special little video for you. This is from our current medical assisting students, sharing their insights and reflections on their experiences.
This medical assisting class is super important, especially to those students interested in going into medicine. This class has given me so much insight into the medical field in general, and I'm super excited for the experience I'll get in the internship.
One word I would use to describe this class is informative.
It is a skill-based class, but also the teacher, Ms. K, teaches you about different social determinations of health in healthcare, and how to make a difference and impact other people's health with this, especially nowadays with everything going on. I think it is important to take a class where it only doesn't teach you skill based, but it also teaches you how to make an impact on other people's lives, whether it's to be more advocate about other people that are around you and helping other people.
For this class, I was mainly into genetics-based careers, and now over time, I've gone into dermatology and all family medicine careers.
Now that you move to class, it really helps you learn more about healthcare and about the history too. I learned about just all these marginalized groups and how many others may not trust healthcare. And having that perspective just really helps me understand how I should act in the medical field. And I think this program's really helped me just learn more about people, their situations, and how I can be more empathetic and just have a more open mind. I feel very motivated because it's a collaborative class, we don't have and very hands-on. All of our skills that we learn and new labs we do just really prepare us for our future and for the medical field. And that's something I look forward to every day.
Yeah, Elkington, and I'm a senior at Terland High School. And one word I would use to describe medical assistant or P class is rewarding.
We have Glenn to continue sharing about our P classes.
Hi, my name is Glenn Dennis. I'm a coordinator here at MCBE and here to talk about the other RB classes that we offer in our county. So we have two auto courses. We have Auto 1 and 2, which is offered at Terra Linda during the school day. One thing to note is Terra Linda now is the only location that offers an auto program in Marin County. And so our students are very lucky to have that opportunity. In the evenings, we offer the CAP program, the Car Appreciation and Preservation program, and that introduces students to the auto industry, but more specifically focus on classic cars. We're looking to expand that program next year. We'll talk about that in future slides. The other two programs are the Intro to Construction A and B classes that are offered at the CT Center at Terra Linda in the evenings. Now we're in our third year, and again, we're also looking to expand that program into Novato. And then the last class there is the ROP construction program, which has been around for many decades. And that class is unique in the sense that students work with a team of volunteer contractors to custom build and design sheds. So they learn about all the fundamentals of construction in that class. Next slide. So in terms of the building and construction trades classes, what I want to highlight is we're continuing to build the program. And one thing that's new are field trips. We bring lots of volunteers and guest speakers to talk about our programs, but we don't always have the opportunity to go out and actually visit. And so this is the first year we're doing that. One of the programs we're visiting is at College of Marin. They have a welding and auto program. So we took a group of students there in December. We're planning another field trip to the Carpenters Training Center in Fairfield. This is coming up actually in March 20th. And there they'll learn a little bit about what it means to join a union and how do you get trained, what are apprenticeships. And so we're really excited about that. We did have an opportunity to take students onto a live construction site at Terra Linda. As you know, they're building the pool complex there. And so we had the company that is doing the construction lead us on an individual tour. And that was also very, very exciting. And last but not least, new this year, we're offering a new certification, which is OSHA 10. And that's on top of the CPR certifications that we currently offer. And now I'd like to bring back Jesse Essen.
And just for those that don't work in construction trades and learned about this the same time I did, OSHA 10 is a safety training for people who work in the trades, and it's considered kind of a baseline certification to get jobs in the trades. So it's a really valuable certification for our students to have, and it's something that we're working on more ways to expand that opportunity to more students. So I want to take a minute here that when we think about looking forward for some of these CTE classes, want to take an opportunity just to announce a really exciting endeavor for our team, and this is the expansion of the CTE Center program to Nevada High School. So this has been something that we've been working on as part of kind of the long-term vision of what we were doing with the CTE Center is how do we reach more students in more parts of the county. We know we can't do everything all at once, but we know that over time, we're going to find where the demand is and where the interest is and try to build opportunities there to meet the students' needs and make it easier for them to have access to the things that we're offering. And there's been substantial demand in Novato, and Glenn's going to talk about that in a minute. But we're really excited about what this project is going to bring to Novato and how it's going to allow our team to really, provide more opportunities for more students and really engage with the community that we're already kind of engaging with, but it's going to be a different level of engagement when we're having programs in the backyard. So I want to hand it back to Glenn, who's going to talk a little bit about the why we're doing this, and then we'll talk about the project and the timeline that we have so far.
As Jesse mentioned, we're moving into Novato, and one of the major considerations is location. Putting up two statistics up there gives you a sense of the demand and also the enrollment. So if you look at the intro to building and construction trades classes, currently 65% of all the students who have completed the program come from either San Rafael or Terra Linda. And the main reason is that the CT Center is located there. So we're able to attract and retain students mainly due to its location. If you look at the car appreciation and preservation program, again, 40% of the students who complete the program do come from either San Rafael or Terra Linda. And by comparison, you look at the Novato numbers, so it's about a 25%, and the main reason for that is transportation. It's a pretty daunting ask for the students who don't have a car to get to San Rafael from Novato. We've looked at bus routes, we looked at potentially chartering buses, and really the most compelling reason for students to commit to these programs is that its location. They can literally either walk across the quad to their class, or it's a short trip from San Lorenzo over to Novato High School. These courses are modeled after the existing courses, really depending with some modifications based on the skills of the instructor and our facility, what our facility is able to actually offer. Right now, we're currently recruiting instructors, and we have postings out on the joint and out in the community.
Thank you. And just to add to that, in addition to the building construction class expansion, we're working to also expand the car appreciation and preservation class to Novato High. So this is it's a little unorthodox to create an auto program where there isn't an auto shop. But what we're looking at is how can we use the same space that we're using, an outdoor covered workspace, and think really strategically of how to use mobile equipment to provide an introduction to an auto careers class using engines and carburetors and the pieces of equipment that we know can be used without having a full shop. Shifting Gears USA is a major partner with this, and they're funding the class at Terra Linda High School, and then they're also going to be funding the expansion to Novato. And we've been working really closely with the district and school site leaders to determine when the best scheduling would be to make it most accessible for students, the locations where we could use, and then long-term plans for development. And just to kind of put this into phases, Novato High School has an existing covered workspace that we're going to be able to use this fall. So our plan is that we're going to have any upgrades that are needed to offer a class starting this fall done by August. And we're working with Greystone West and an architect. We're actually taking a look at the facility tomorrow to see what kind of fencing needs to be added or electrical upgrades to make it used. But it's really usable right now for what we want to do. And then the next phase of this project will be building a new covered workspace in a different part of the campus, but nearby, that we can have an expanded program. And we're looking at at a spring 2028 kind of ballpark figure for that. The funds that are needed for phase one, we already have. We've received some donations for Novato specifically for that project. Phase two will be starting to raise funds for that this spring, and kind of the completion timeline will really depend on when we raise enough funds for the project that we want to build and the timeline it takes to complete that project. But we know that we can start having classes this fall with the existing facilities and funding that we have. And we have some leads on some instructors. That's usually the hardest part of expanding a program. So if we're able to figure out the instructor piece, maybe there's an update coming to you soon with the actual name of the instructor and a schedule of classes. And then because I usually do this at the end of the presentations, I just want to give you a quick update on the CTE grants. We applied for 2 major statewide grants this year, the Career Technical Education Incentive Grant and the K-12 Strong Workforce Program Grant. We received $1,450,224 for CTIG, $994,270 for K-12 Strong Workforce. That money goes to the entire county. So we're working with all the high school districts and several middle school districts to distribute that money out to support CTE classes. And then our office received $140,000 for the K-12 pathway coordinator role. So in total, it's a little over $2.5 million coming into the county for this fiscal year. And then of that, a little over $1 million of it comes to MCBE. So exciting work ahead. We try to put everything into hopefully a quick enough presentation. We thank you so much for your time. And if you have any questions,
I have a question.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesse, and thank you, Adam, and the rest of the team. And so now we will take questions. It seems like everybody has a question. We'll just start on one side of the room and work our way this way.
Jesse, I know that we've had different programs under this umbrella, and I hear a lot of good things, and it's really good to be able to get this skill set. But are we tracking the students who actually take the courses and whether they have used that in determining A, whether they're going to go pursue college, or B, where they're working right now, or are they going to the vocational program? Thank you.
That's a great question. That's something that we're currently working on. We've been having discussions on our team. We do track students while they're still in high school and see where they're going. We have a lot of students that kind of cross between programs or take the next level of a program. The thing that gets a little murky for us is once they leave high school. And so we've been really working hard to try to create opportunities to keep in touch with those students and then track that data. I think one thing that we've been talking about as a team and we'll continue to talk about is, what are our metrics for success with these programs? Because the students that you saw in that healthcare video, some of them are going to take that class and decide they don't want to do a career in healthcare, or they might use those skills. And I think this happened recently where a student was in the education class and said, actually, I want to do a career in healthcare. And we also know that sometimes students are joining in pathways at 15 years old. They might develop some different interests along the way. And it's really not to their early 20s that they say, oh, actually, that's the thing I want to do. So how are we measuring whether our programs were successful? Do they complete and move on in that pathway? Do they have as many experiences as possible? Where are they 10 years from now? I think those are things that we're working on as kind of the next phase of our data collection. I don't have any answer for you right now, but I think it's definitely something that we need to grow in.
Yeah, I think that if there is just at least a communication with the students that says, every 3 months or every 6 months, you need to communicate to us. Just like when I get the scholarship, it's like, I am supposed to tell the board that this is what I've done. So something like that, a follow-up.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And Trustee Johansson, did you have something?
I just want to say congrats. It's just every time you report the whole team, it's so exciting to see the growth, and just keep going.
I have a question.
And Trustee McCarthy.
You indicated that you're working sort of to get the kids into the trades and you're exposing them to all of this. My personal experience and professional experience is it's very difficult to get kids, young people, into the union. It's either you need to have a relative, you have somebody to get you in the door, and without that, you really have a very difficult time breaking into a union. Is there something that you're doing or some access or some inroad that this program is creating that is ever going to give these young people an opportunity to get in unless they know somebody?
Yeah, I want to answer quickly, but then I want to allow Glenn to chime in as well. That I think we're developing that as we go with this a little bit, and part of that is the communication and the different guest speakers that we have in. Some of them are really giving us the insights of which unions are easier to enter for students that don't have experience, and can kind of what skills can they learn to pass a test so that they can get in with minimal experience. Some of the unions are easier to get into than others. Some have more demand for workers than others. We're kind of learning that as we go. Some of the people that we're working with are also non-union and are explaining all of the opportunities that are non-union related and the training that they received in a non-union path. So what I think our goal is to make sure that we're expressing all options to the students, and they can then kind of help them decide which path is best for them. I think that there is a pre-apprenticeship model that some organizations offer that we've talked about kind of building into our program as we go in the next phase of our development and get beyond the intro classes and get into like a year-long electrical class that could act as a pre-apprenticeship that really meets the requirements to apply successfully for an apprenticeship program. But yeah, it's definitely something that we need to develop further.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. Two things that are related, and it relates to how the program works throughout it's things that are more throughout the county. So one question was, especially for the summer programs when transportation is maybe a little less of an issue because the kids are not in school, I'll just do both questions together then. So, is how you promote, how does the program actually get promoted in all the schools? To get like 350 kids in the summer is terrific. And you fill the programs by getting the kids. So I just want to know how you do that. It's very neat. And the other thing is when you talked about the support, the money that you just got, the grant money is to support classes throughout the county. How do you support, are there other classes in the county that are CTE classes that you can, how do you support the ones that are not the ones you're running in San Rafael and maybe Nevada?
So I want to see if Yvonne and maybe even Glenn can chime in a little bit on the recruitment piece. I'll try to answer that last question briefly, quickly first. We offer support through everything that has to do with aligning programs. So there's a CTE networking group that Glenn and the team lead. It brings all the CTE teachers together, and it provides a professional learning community for the CTE teachers so they can share about what they're doing in their class. There are a lot of these teachers are the only ones at their school that teach a specific class. We work with the district offices to streamline the grant applications and the grant reporting, take that administrative burden off of the districts. We provide a lot of guidance when it comes to developing out pathway programs or curriculum development related to labor market information, or where we see trends in working with businesses locally that we see these kind of pathways to success. So we provide a lot of support to these programs that the districts offer directly. And then we also partner through our school to career program and have our liaisons work with those teachers as well to bring career exploration opportunities like field trips or guest speakers into the classroom.
Okay, so that there are districts that have CTE classes that are not run by the county.
Yeah, there are a lot of CTE programs that are run by the district. Some of them are long-term, some of them are new based on these grants being supported. And then, Yvonne, do you want to talk about the outreach and the meeting plan?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so specifically for our summer career academies, it's a partnership program with College Marin. And so we really have staff on both sides really supporting this program. We have folks on the comm side and then also here at the MCBE side. But, I think we've really just found success in kind of like grassroots promoting to kids. Last week, we were at San Rafael High School. We were at San Marin. This Friday, we're going to be at the Terra Linda High School Career Fair. And then coming up is the Mill Valley, Novato High. And, it's really just sharing it with our partners, counselors, principals, administrators, students, just spreading the word. And so, yeah, 350 it's a good number. Last year we had capacity for around 200, high 200s, but we had over 500 applicants. And so then this year we increased the offerings for the popular programs, and we're hopeful that we can get all 350 seats filled. And if we do get them filled, we have the good problem of seeing what we do next, right? Do we expand and how do we reach these students? But I think it's really through years and years of promoting these programs that it really brings success and partnerships and stuff like that. So
Thank you.
Both Jesse and Yvonne did a pretty good job. The only thing I'd like to add is that we did start a new position for the ROP liaison, who does, in addition to all of the outreach to counselors and to students directly, the RP liaison is really focused specifically on disseminating information about all our programs, not just ROP, to directly to students and community-based organizations. So collectively, we're able not only to reach a wide range of students, but also target enrollment to specific groups like English learners.
Trustee Garbarino has a question.
Yes, thank you. I just have a comment, actually. That was such a phenomenal report. And I say that as someone who started Project Workability here 41 years ago. And for that, you guys do far better than I ever thought I could ever do. And for that, too, I'm going to ask Laura to distribute the cookies in honor of your wonderful report before we get to the action items. So thank you on behalf of all of those families and children whose lives you are enriching. Here's some more enrichment.
Any more questions? Jill, did you have a question?
I do not.
Okay, wonderful. You need a moment of silence for the cookie. Should we go on to the Rock Valley chart?
Oh, yes.
Let's do that.
Then you can have a cookie when you're done.
Okay, moving right along, we're going to bring up item 4.03 Rock Valley Charter School Annual Update. And we have the director of Ross Valley Charter Paige here to update. You're welcome back.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I didn't know there would be food. So every spring, we come and just share updates about our year at Ross Valley Charter, kind of some areas of focus, how we're doing on several different areas. I just want to start by saying thank you to John Carroll. And if those of you who don't know, John and I have every 2-week call that we started at the beginning of this school year. And I think it's been really great in terms of just making sure the superintendent and MCOE team knows what's going on at Ross Valley Charter and has a chance to ask questions. And similarly, it's just been I think it's been a really nice way of just building that relationship between MCOE and us at RVC. And I just also want to thank John's team, Beth and Kirsten and Laura and Steve Armstrong and Bree. Everyone is so supportive, and we just really appreciate just the collaboration. Thank you, trustees, for having us today to present. So just a little overview. I think I touched on a few of these. Our charter petition covers 15 required elements. We have an MOU with MCOE that covers requirements for us in terms of staying in touch with our oversight team here at MCOE. The MCOE staff, mostly Beth Redpole and Kirsten Starsiak, come to our board meetings every month. We really appreciate their contributions. Sometimes it's helpful to ask questions that they might have answers to, but mostly they're just kind of there to, follow along, make sure they have access to our board documents and any of the decisions our Ross Valley Charter School Board is making. And like I mentioned, those every 2-week meetings with Superintendent Carroll and the staff have been super helpful this year. Our focus areas, I'm not sure how to get rid of the little audio pop up there, but it says overall focus 25-26. We continued working on a project that began last year around revising our code of conduct, an anti-bullying plan and pledge. This was a collaboration between some of our teaching staff and several members of our community council. A couple of those members are also, one of them is a parent board member. This was really important in terms of making sure that we were communicating with families and that this was something that we were collaborating on to make sure we were, upholding what we expected of our students and communicating that with our families on a regular basis. We also continue to strengthen our daily social emotional learning at school. It's so important. We really feel like it's along with reading and working on our writing and math. This is something that's happening in our classrooms every single day. A new addition this year has been a focus in parent education, a partnership with an organization, ScreenSense, that I think is a national organization, and the Marin branch called Kids IRL, that's really looking at parent ed around technology, specifically kids' access to screens at home, social media. There's been a real interest from our parent community in educating ourselves. I'm a parent, my son is finishing 5th grade this year at RBC, and so it's been really nice to be able to come together and grapple with some of these challenging things we're facing as parents and as educators around access to technology, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and to make some decisions together and like kind of become united in terms of like, can we get together and agree on things? We are a phone-free school. Our kids have to keep their phones if they have them in backpacks. If they have watches, those go on the teacher's desk for the school day and they get them back before they leave. So that's been, I think that's been a real positive for us this year, that focus. And I really appreciate the parents who have been working with Kids IRL to be our ambassadors on that this year. We have increased our parent representation on our board. We have 3 new board members who are all RBC parents who joined the board in the fall, including 2 current members ongoing members who are also parents of current students. So 5 of our 6 board members are parents with current students at school. And I think it's especially important that many of them have kids in the younger grades too. So we know they're committed to being at RBC and supporting the school and seeing it be sustainable and successful into the future for their kids and for the rest of the community. Our academic areas of focus, we've really been focused on math this year in terms of professional development. We're piloting some new curricula, one specifically in K1 and another that we're using in 2nd through 5th. For any of you who need a little reminder, we're a multi-age school, so we have a TK class and then 2 K1 classrooms, 2 2nd, 3rd grade classrooms, 1 3rd, 4th this year because we had a little bubble of enrollment to address there in the 3rd and 4th grades, and then 2, 4, 5. So our teachers work really closely in those multi-age grade level teams. And so we're using a little bit different curricula in K1 versus 2nd grade and up, just for what works best for that age developmental level. We really appreciated the MCBE curriculum fair. There was a math curriculum fair recently. We had our team leads from each of our grade level teams come to the fair. They met with the vendors. We have lots of samples coming in at school, lots of things arriving for them to look at and explore. So we're really excited that we've kind of dove into math more this year, and we'll get to look more at adopting some new curricula, likely possibly piloting more next year and adopting something the following year. We continue to refine our intervention model to be in alignment with our literacy curriculum. This year, the emphasis was on a push-in model and small group instruction to really, meet students where they are, be in their classroom working with them and providing that additional support from our intervention specialist, and really in collaboration with the classroom teachers who know their students best and are delivering that instruction every day. Another focus for us this year was support for our teachers, mentorship in grade level teams. We had 1 teacher who was brand new to Ross Valley Charter this year, 1 teacher who was their 2nd year. Multi-age and our inquiry-based learning focus are really complex for teachers, and so we really want to make sure they get the support they need to be successful at RDC. We also have 3 teachers this year completing the induction program with MCBE. Again, I think that partnership and working closely with the opportunities that are available here has been really great. And our teachers have had such positive things to say about Laura Brady and her team and the program. So we really appreciate that. Our enrollment this year has been stable throughout the school year. We're at 196 students. You can see kind of that bubble of enrollment that's in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. Oh yeah, I could have like that little X. We have stayed stable in terms of our enrollment, right around 200, give or take, some students for the past 3 years. So we feel like this is, again, a year of stability for our enrollment. In terms of next year, we're projecting, again, 196 students. We just completed our first enrollment period. So last week was an exciting week for us and for our new potential new families. We were inviting families who had enrolled or applied during that first enrollment period. So based on the demand, it was really similar. We were comparing numbers in terms of what we've seen in applications and enrollment in previous years, especially last year, and really similar, almost down to the exact number, really close, like within a handful of applicants. So we are looking at projecting stable enrollment for next year, a little, fluctuation in terms of where those, fuller classes are. Again, a full class of TK, potentially 28 kindergarten and on from there. We do have it's really nice that we have the flexibility to respond to our enrollment numbers. Like I mentioned, we were able to create that 3-4 class this year, still a multi-age classroom, still using inquiry-based learning, but able to accommodate a little bubble of enrollment. So again, we'll stay flexible. We'll continue to look at what our enrollment numbers are looking like throughout the coming enrollment periods to determine what those classroom configurations will be for next year. We have really strengthened our communication and engagement with incoming families over the past 2 years. Our outreach coordinator has been instrumental in that. She's bilingual. She's a current parent at our school. She's really well connected to a lot of families in our community. And so I think offering families opportunities to stay engaged, to get their questions answered, and to come to school for events has really helped us stay in touch and maintain that connection with families so that the families that apply and register are showing up in August when school starts. Our tours and events have been really well attended, and we're planning events throughout the spring to bring families to campus to meet our current families, meet members of our staff who they may not have met yet. So we will continue all of those efforts that seem to have really had positive outcomes for us in last year. In terms of our financial standing, we have our board meeting this Thursday, so it's a busy board meeting week. Right now, in our board report for Thursday, we're projecting a positive balance at the end of the 25-26 year of $106,000. That leaves us with a 28% reserve. Some of you who have heard our reports in the past know that we did need to use receivable sales in order to keep our cash flow positive. We no longer need those, which has been really nice for all of us to not have to worry about that. Our second and own budget has about $263,000 in donations and fundraising budgeted, and we've raised about 181 of that so far. We just wrapped up our annual readathon, and so we're still kind of making sure we know exactly what has been committed, but I think we're in good shape. We have 2 more opportunities for fundraising remaining. Some of our families are on a monthly donation plan, so those continue to roll in throughout the school year. And we also have our school auction and a gala party event coming up in May. We're projecting stable enrollment for 26-27, like I said, given that we've remained close to 200 students over the past 3 years. Any questions?
Okay, thank you. That was amazing. A gala for a charter school. That's it. Only in Berlin, maybe. Okay, we have we'll start on this side of the room this time. Any questions? Marilyn.
Yeah, do you have any special needs kids, and can you talk about that a little?
Sure, we are a full inclusion school, so we're a public school, all charter, we're a public charter school, so we do have students in special education. We use a full inclusion model, so we don't have a standalone special ed class, but we have students with all different kinds of needs who get their services through a mostly pull-out model. We have a speech therapist who's on campus 3 days a week. She's a very integrated member of our team. We have an occupational therapist who's there 1 day a week. And then we have our special ed teacher who's full-time with us. And she and I kind of share the special education director responsibilities. We have a great team, and each year, depending on who our students are, we refine how we provide the support and what their services.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Trustee McCarthy.
How many of your students are English learners?
Oh, yeah, I don't have the exact number on the tip of my tongue, but I think this year we're at about 15%.
And with respect to testing, I'm not really familiar with exactly what kind of like STAR test or what kind of testing that you do statewide that you're required to do. And do you have that, and in what grades, and what have been the results to date?
Yeah, I mean, I can share more with you, after the meeting or follow up with you. We take the CAST test, just like all public schools in California. Our English learners also take LPAC, which is the English language test to determine, their fluency. So they take that. And initially when they come in, either when they first start, like in kindergarten, or if they join our school later, and then they also take the summative LPAC at the end of the year to look at their fluency. And then our students take the CASP test, like Oliver, and those are 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders take that test. I think our test results for our English learners are really similar to those of other students and other English learner students in the county. It's an area that we've really put focus on in past years to provide test prep support in small group settings so that they have kind of a lower risk setting to prepare for the test. We provide integrated ELD instructions. So we put a lot of energy into supporting our English learner students. And unfortunately, I think we continue to see that they still need support. We're not seeing huge jumps in terms of their test scores. So we're always looking at how we can creatively support them as best we can.
As far as the testing is concerned in your results, I mean, something just came out about, in the state of California, 11th grade, 44% of the children can't read at level and 70% of the children are not at the appropriate level for math. I'm just sort of trying to get a sense of what the outcomes are in terms of the proficiency of students in this program.
Yeah, I think I would have to look at our results. Our students will take the test again this spring, so we have results from previous years we could refer back to, and our students will be taking the test again in May. So I can follow up with you after.
As a sort of a follow-up, it might be helpful. I think you post your results on the dashboard like everybody else. So if you just go to the California State dashboard, you'll see, and you can do a deep dive.
Yeah, there's a tool on there that you can search directly for English learner students. You can kind of dial it down, to a pretty granular level and looking at results for particular demographic groups.
I was just looking across the board, not particularly for English learners.
Oh, yeah. So we share our test results at our board meetings. In terms of just overall student performance, last year we were really similar to our surrounding district, similar to county results. I think we had about I'm not gonna guess. I need to look at our exact numbers, but between 60 and 70% students meeting or exceeding standard in ELA and around a little lower than that in math. So
thank you.
All right, any other questions? Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Oh, I wanted to share one more thing that I forgot to mention. So Ross Valley Charter is in our 9th year. We initially, we are up for our charter renewal next year, 26-27. So I just wanted you as the MCOE board to know that we will be bringing our charter petition for renewal next year. We look forward to working on that and sharing it with you and going through the renewal process. So just to have that on your radar, that's something that'll be happening in the next academic year.
That does bring up a question.
Sure.
Is there a possibility that Ross Valley would take back the charter?
We have done, we've looked into it with CDE, and I know the MCOE team has as well. And the answer we keep getting is that we bring our petition to you at MCOE because MCOE has current oversight over Ross Valley Charter. So.
And it's to be specific, the board will be making that decision on charter renewal. And for those members who weren't here when we had our last charter petition from the Healy School, we have a staff who is, we do a very deep dive into assessing, it takes months and a huge number of hours to make sure that we give you all the information you need to make an informed decision about the charter.
Okay, well, good job. It's great to see the progress of the schools financially, academically, and it's been so stable, the amount of students. So Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on then to the next item, action items. 5.01, we have resolution number 1090, 180-day wait period exception. This is a roll call vote. Assistant Superintendent.
Thank you. Thank you. This amended resolution is before you today with an edit for clarification as requested by CalPERS. Our personnel office, during consultation with CalPERS following the board's approval, learned that we inadvertently used inaccurate wording in the initial resolution that we adopted. CalPERS has asked us to bring this back today to clarify that Mr. Lippy will work as an extra help retired annuitant. The scope of the work, pay rate, project completion, maximum hours per fiscal year, there are no changes to those areas. It is simply terminology as extra help retired annuitant.
What did it replace?
We had used the term professional expert, which is not accurate. CalPERS would like us to use the accurate terminology.
All right, that makes sense.
So moved.
Okay, are there any questions for the Assistant Superintendent? Ms. McCarthy?
What is the term that they requested that you use?
Extra help retired annuitant.
As opposed to a professional expert?
As opposed to a professional expert, yes.
Is it roll call?
Yes. Okay, any other
discussion?
Yeah, we're questions and discussion continue. Yeah.
I'm concerned about this because, again, when this first occurred and Mr. Lippy was called a professional expert, he's not an expert in building or in any aspect of this construction issue. And I do not understand why we have to put him back into the picture and pay this additional money as an extra helper. I've not heard one good rationale for putting him back into this picture and MCOE paying for him to do this. So for those reasons, I'm opposed to it, and I think that this issue is well presented by the fact that he is not a professional expert. Somebody who's going to be a professional expert, is going to be assisting this board, making these kinds of decisions. It should be somebody with significant construction experience who's going to be able to decipher some of the material that we're getting from the developer and from financial people who are not giving this project a big stamp of approval. And we're just not getting that information from Mr. Lippy. So for that reason, I will oppose paying somebody something when we really need an expert as opposed to somebody who's just extra help.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other discussion or comments? Well, then I must say that I believe that Ken Lippy, besides just the construction part of this, there's so much more that goes on with our liaison through the Oak Hill project. And for me, Ken Lippy is exactly the correct person. So I'm going to vote for this. Let's have a vote. Roll call, please.
Jill Sartori,
Yes.
Curtis Robinson,
Yes.
Lee Delpan,
Yes.
Patty Garbarino,
Yes.
Marilyn Nemser,
Yes.
Cindy Johansson,
Yes.
Nancy McCarthy.
Yeah.
Okay, resolution 1090 passes. Moving on, we have item number 5.02. 2026-27 transportation plan. This is the Assistant Superintendent Bree Brown.
Good afternoon. So the transportation plan is just an annual thing that we bring before you. That was created a few years ago in order for us to access the homeschool transportation reimbursement funds. And so there's no changes to this. It is just, other than we removed the term Phoenix Academy because Phoenix no longer exists. So.
All right. Do we have a motion? Any questions or comments?
I move we approve.
Is there a second?
Oh,
I
sorry.
have a question.
Okay, a question before a motion.
What was this before this? I mean, what significant changes have been made from the prior transportation plan to this transportation plan?
So we have not changed this transportation plan since its inception a few years ago. Prior to this, there were no reimbursement funds, so this was a new, and I apologize, I can't remember what year this came to be. But this was a requirement of some new funds that were introduced a few years ago that we had to provide a plan on the new funds.
Where did the new funds come from?
It was a governor's choice in the budget, and now it's through the legislation.
And so now all of the funding for this transportation plan is all coming from the state, nothing is coming independently from any general funds, et cetera, that the MCOE is in control of, is that correct?
The home to school transportation reimbursement funds are given to any LEA that qualifies. After it comes in arrears because they look at our prior year, they look at what our expenditures was and then there was a formula, and then they provide a reimbursement for people that actually expended funds. And that was the wording of the legislation, that it would be an actual reimbursement program for people that expended transportation.
So all of these funds, all of the funds for this transportation plan, not just what we spent over our own budget, all come directly from that program from the state?
Yes, there are no other current reimbursements and or funding for transportation. Transportation was eliminated many, many years ago.
And so this covers buses. I mean, what are the different means of transportation for some of these students to be able to access them in the locations they are at?
So again, this is a reimbursement program, so it's just looking at what dollars were spent, and how an LEA spent those dollars is not considered. It's just whether or not they spent dollars on transportation. MCOE itself does various forms of vans, cars, cabs, etc. For transportation. And I'd have to ask somebody else from the program side of the house to come up and talk about that a little bit more. But in this reimbursement program in general, it's just they look at your prior year's expenditures coded to transportation, and then they give you a percentage.
Do you have any idea or recollection of what those costs are annually?
It varies for MCOE very much year to year because it often is due to student situations. This year, it went up quite a bit, and I think I don't want to make an estimate. I just know that it went up quite a bit this year, and I could give you some more details on that. But you can also go to the website on UCD's website, because there are detailed spreadsheets on how they came up with those transportation reimbursement dollars on the principal portion of the website as well.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, we're having a motion.
I move approval.
And is there a second?
A second.
Okay, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all those opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. All right, now moving on to 5.03, that's Bree again here. The second interim budget report, Assistant Superintendent Bree Brown and staff, and Senior Director Pam Smith.
Yeah, thank you. Hello again, and thank you. And I'm actually going to turn it all over to Pam for the first half of the information.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we bring forth our second interim budget. Okay. The budget cycle consists of is a 2-year process, and within that there are 2 formal updates. The first one is presented in December, which is the first interim, and today we bring forth the second interim update. There will be additional updates and update to the 25-26 budget included in the budget adoption that will be presented in June, followed by the final update in January. There are a few takeaways for the second interim update. The second interim update is to reflect changes since first interim. MCOE remains financially stable while planning cautiously the state and federal fiscal uncertainty. And we're happy to report that MCOE has a positive certification, which means that we are able to meet current plus 2 years of projected final obligations. This slide represents there are 4 major
sources of funding that make up our revenue for MCBE. There was a 1% decrease in the federal revenues that was offset by other local revenues that increased by 1%, which led to no material changes between the first and second interim budget. This slide represents the rates and assumptions that were used to help us calculate the update for second interim plus the 2 subsequent years.
Switch over. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this page because I think it's really critical. We always have questions about where our funding is coming from. And so one thing I want to highlight is on that very top line, you can see that there's been no change for COLA of this year, but you can see our change since first interim is actually kind of trending downward, which is definitely an indication of where we are in the state of the economy and where, concerns about the federal government and various funding sources. As Pam mentioned, our federal funding is pretty minimal. I mean, we're at 5%, which is, well, granted, we never want to say we could afford to lose money, but 5% is borderline material for our budget. And so if there is unrest at the federal level, we will be able to survive that storm. So I hope that doesn't come to fruition. So one thing I wanted to mention for differences from prior period or first interim, we had kind of shifts in revenues. And again, when it comes to accounting, whenever we get more or less revenues, we must, what you do on one side, you must do on the other. And so revenue or expenses increase and decrease due to various reasons. There were no material changes between first interim and second interim. Overall, when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, there might be changes overall when you're looking at the total budget, but in the individual resource allocations, there wasn't anything significantly material. We did include some of the increase to federal revenues that we have received back, but some of those are also in future years, and so we haven't recognized that. And also that was kind of a timing issue between when second interim was being completed and when we got that news. It's really important to me that we have transparency in the budget. Board members were offered office hours, and I would always encourage people to come to see me and to have conversations with me. Clearly, it's hard to get into the nitty gritty when I'm standing up here. We have like 30,000 budget lines, so it's not something I have memorized either. So I just want to make sure though that everybody, what is in the packet for the board, in addition to this presentation, which will be posted by tomorrow. The packet includes my cover letter and my memo that kind of summarizes everything, but it also includes the SACS forms, which is the mandated state forms. And they are kind of daunting if you've never looked at them before. So this is just kind of a little like key code on how to read those SACS forms. Most of the SACS forms are, have a lot of description in them and can provide you with a lot of the information that you might be seeking or curious about. And so I want people to feel comfortable coming to me if they have questions about those SACS forms. Overall, our summary, where we practice, I'm a conservative budgeter. We are conservative budgeters. It's important to us that if we make budget decisions, that they're either sustainable or they're very intentional if we're using one-time funds. And you can see that at this moment in time, MCOE is projecting almost a 70% total reserve for this year, and over the next out years, it just grows in percentage-wise. And we are stable and hope to continue our good fiscal stewardship in the future. I set aside, based on a recommendation or a question or a request from a board member last time about acronyms. So the last page here includes acronyms, but I also placed at every board member's table just a list. You can either turn that into me and I'll make sure to bring it back to the next board meeting, or you can keep it for yourself. It's up to you. But I know that when you're reading the forms, and part of why I wanted to include that is if you are going to go in and read the forms, I highly recommend you go in and read the criterion and standards section of the SACS documents. The criterion and standards is more of the
kind of the written out and a little more descriptive. It's more for the layperson than just hardcore numbers. It associates percentages and various comparisons to prior year and future year. And so I would really encourage you to read the criterion and standards section of the SACS forms if you want to get in deep. And that it might be helpful to you to have that glossary of terms with you. That's also going to be in this presentation posted online when we're done.
Great.
Any questions? Yes, sir.
Okay, are there questions? Trustee Johansson? No? Trustee McCarthy?
Yes, during the time that we were discussing this matter and we had the opportunities to speak with you about it, one of the budget items that I was concerned about were the reserves. And that was an indication, I believe, that it's approximately 22 million in reserves. And you had indicated to me that I think it was in approximately 2013 was where this money sort of came into being as a result of certain changes that had occurred and how it has increased since that time. And you had indicated that there was a resolution about the matter and had thought that there was something about lending money as opposed to giving this money, all of this money to some other entity or for any other purpose. Right now, and one of the issues I've raised, or one of the issues that I've asked this board to consider, is that I'm not sure that John Carroll had the ability to say that this money could be committed for building purposes. But what I want to see, and I'm concerned about and would like to see happen, is there is a tremendous amount of money that is charged by MCOE to individual districts for assistance with special needs. And I see districts struggling financially and going out for bond issues, et cetera. And I have asked, and I'm not really totally gotten an answer to this, is why we cannot, as a board, take a year of those expenses and give the money back to the districts that are really having struggles with this. In addition to whether or not we can take that money and use that money to deal with some of the issues that we're facing with difficulty with reading and difficulty with math, particularly with minority students. And I'd like to be able to know whether or not you did any further research to determine if there were any limitations on the use of those funds, those reserve funds, for those types of purposes, or whether or not there's any authorization for the superintendent of school to commit those funds to the Oak Hill project.
I have not done any research about whether or not we can commit those funds, but that is part of the code. We are allowed, the board is allowed to commit funds as they so choose. And so what you're referring to is Resolution 866 that was, I believe, in 2014, which created the stabilization arrangement. The stabilization arrangement, you're correct, is somewhat vague on what those allowable uses are. It's not defined, which means that ultimately it's up to the board. But I'm going to take my MCOE hat off for a second. I'm going to put my AB 1200 hat on for a minute. And AB 1200 is our responsibility as fiscal oversight for the county. And I would say that I hear what you're saying about special needs and various interests and various concerns about district finances. It's really critical, especially when it comes to special education or any high cost program, that a district create a sustainable program. Sustainable programs are not saved by a 1-year reprieve. And this county office, while we do have a high reserve at this moment, we don't have a high enough reserve to give years of support to districts. And so what you're suggesting is like a 1-year reprieve. I would caution that from an AB 1200 standpoint, just because that would not allow the districts to actually look at their programs and review their programs and create sustainable programs. One thing I discussed in our own report for MCOE is how it's important for us to make either intentional one-time
uses of our funds or to create sustainable programs. And so part of creating sustainable programs is something we're currently doing through the SELPA, which is reviewing various SELPA programs. The SELPA, which is the Special Education Local Plan Area, is made up of all different, all the districts in the county. That's being reviewed. We have a cycle for review about those various programs and the cost of the programs. We get input from districts. It's something that's highly scrutinized, highly reviewed, and it is on a sustainable cycle where that goes. There's a board to the SELPA called the OSC, the Operational Steering Committee, that reviews that and overall approves those type of things. There is a system in place for how that's reviewed. And with my AB 1200 hat on, I'm going to say that's the type of thing that's needed in order for districts to create sustainable long-term programs. I'm never going to be in favor of okay, I would never turn down free money, but I'm never going to be a proponent of making short-term decisions for long-term programs because it's just not sustainable.
And what about for making one-time programs for important programs like assisting crash courses for minorities in terms of improving reading and in terms of improving math skills? Is that same thing that you're saying that shouldn't be something that this district should consider because it's only once?
I think that everybody should consider it, but they need to consider things not just on a one-time basis. But if that student receives that program, ongoing programs for what helps students. And I'm not going to speak to that because I'm not a program person, but I can say that from listening to all the intelligent people that I sit with on cabinet that they would argue that long-term programs help.
So a 2 or 3 year program that could be effective.
You know, I would defer to the program folk for that because I don't want to speak to something that's not my expertise.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? And this needs a vote.
I move we approve the second interim budget report.
I second.
Okay, and does this need a roll call? Doesn't look like it. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, all right, motion does pass with 1%. And now moving on to items number 6. Marin County Board of Education reports. Okay, we have multiple reports. So let's see what we're gonna do here. I guess we'll just go right in order. We have the Marin County School Board Association report.
Okay, that's me. 2 things. One is just on behalf of MCSBA, we just wanted to express appreciation for everyone who did attend the JLAC day, the action day at the state capitol. You already heard something about that from John Carroll. The day was a really great success, and we had a combination of countywide superintendents, trustees, student trustees participate in a full day of programming led by Marin County legislative advocates at the Ball Frost Group. This was the second year in a long time that I haven't gone, but they're really great, and I hope next year that at least a few of our board members can make it. It didn't work out this year. Second of all, we have a professional learning series that the MCSBA sponsors workshops. And the first one actually that's coming up, I think you all have this flyer. This one is the first one coming up on March 31st. It's on the Brown Act training. And that's at MCOE. And then we have another one coming up on Thursday, April 30th. So they're at the end of the month. And the next one will be on Negotiations 101. And I think throughout the year, there are also workshops just on special education. I don't have specific dates, but I think everything's on the website, is it not?
Yeah.
Are we, can we board members go to, I was looking on the website at different workshops, and some of them are like, say, mostly for parents. can we go to any of the workshops?
Yeah.
Like, I was
Yeah.
thinking that there were some special ed ones that I thought would be really interesting.
No,
We
absolutely.
just have to let you know.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely, good to go to anyone.
That's great. It's kind of interesting to look on the website and see what all the things are that MCOE offers, because some of them we don't necessarily hear about because they're not things that relate directly to us, but they're all related to our programs. And I think it would be really interesting to go to some of those. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Marilyn. Okay, now next is Be Here Marin School's Efficiency and Effectiveness Collaborative Report. That's trustees Delpan and McCarthy.
I don't have anything to say about it. The only thing I know is it's tomorrow is the meeting. Yeah, tomorrow morning is the meeting at 7:30.
All right, ladies.
Tomorrow's the meeting.
Well, there you go.
That's e-bikes and special education for planning.
Okay,
And I will be in attendance.
thank you, team. Okay, Marin County Public Financing Authority.
The next meeting is in April, so I will provide an update at the April meeting.
JLAC also, Bill.
I sadly was not able to attend the JLAC legislative day, and I hope I can make it next.
Now ACC, anything else? Yeah, yes.
So I haven't been able to attend the last two JLACs, but on my first year I did, and it was really, really enlightening for me. It's just a conflict right now, does not allow me, but it's really a good thing. Thank you.
And now the Association of California County Boards of Education, ACCBE.
Yes, so two quick updates for all of you. Registration is still open for the Knowledge to Action Regional Conference in Mendocino, May 16th and 17th. It's a day and a half for a lovely weekend in Mendocino with your colleagues from county boards all across the state and other superintendents. John and I are currently scheduled to attend, representing Marin County Office of Ed, and we would love any other board members to join us.
It's in Mendocino County,
It's
right?
in Mendocino
Not the
County.
town of Mendocino.
Yes.
What are the dates?
Easier to get to.
May 16th through the
Ukiah.
17th.
It's in Ukiah.
It's in Ukiah.
Didn't want to do a bait and switch. It's beautiful.
But it really is a great way to learn about best practices, to meet other board members. And if you'd like to participate, Vicki can assist with registration. The second is there are two webinars in April. You can go to the accbe.org website to sign up, to see their calendar, but just to call out the topics. There's one on literacy in action, and then another on how county boards can build whole child supports. So you can check that out. That's my report.
Thank you very much. Okay, any other board member reports or activities? They see none.
Wait, just Jill and I had a wonderful visit at the Marin Community School, and it really is true, like walking through the doors of a school. I mean, the reports are wonderful here, but actually seeing the kids, the teachers in action, the student artifacts throughout the classrooms, it's a really special place. So thank you for the time. And hopefully those who have not been able to visit will be able to do so in the future.
I think we can look forward to a tour, which will include the new facility that's just almost done.
We had a preview of the new facility, and it's pretty fabulous. And yes, thank you for mentioning that, Cindy. It really was extremely helpful to have a chance to witness the programs that we talk about all the time, but to actually see it in progress. And one of the classes, they were talking about tariffs and the recent Supreme Court decision. I mean, it was so topical and timely. I just wanted to stay and talk about tariffs. And really, I was impressed with, in the very limited period of time we were there, incredibly impressed with the staff and the programming. It was really good. So thank you.
Trustee Garbarino has some.
Yeah, Kate, if you could let us know when the graduation ceremony is. It's a tearjerker.
I can tell you right now.
Oh, cool. Okay. It's just great.
It's the second Thursday in June.
Second Thursday in June.
So
cool.
June 11th.
Usually after a meeting.
Time. I think-
Yeah, around the time.
Usually at 5:30.
And I had the chance to go to another fundraiser, which was all good about inclusive playgrounds. And my dinner partners were patients of this guy, and they talked all about what a great physician he was. So since this is the end of the meeting, I thought I would end with that.
Move to adjourn on that.
There you go.
Meeting adjourned.